Hey guys, how's it going? So in this video, I'm going to explain why I actually hate Taurus pistols. And I'm going to actually go through a bunch of them and give you specific reasons why. And why I'm really getting sick and tired of guns like this G2C and just basically all the Taurus pistols anymore. And I'm going to switch over to a different platform. And this would be 70s and 80s mouse guns. Just briefly because of obviously the sheer ergonomics, the nice full handful that these guns have, and by far the superior terminal ballistics to the 25 ACP. So I'm switching over to guns along these lines for pretty obvious reasons that I just stated. But look guys, I know it's going to come as a shock to you since I've done so many videos in Taurus pistols in the past. So I'm not just going to do a drive-by hit and run piece. I'm actually going to go through here and explain to you guys one by one why, because I think that's important. I'm not just out here changing my mind willy-nilly. This is something I put a lot of thought and consideration into. So, the G2C. I used to say it fit my hand like a glove. I have many videos saying that, like almost like it was made for me, and just something changed about this pistol. Now, I know my hand shape didn't change, obviously, because this little Titan does fit my hand like a glove. Something about the overall grip and the shape of the pistol changed. Like, just sitting here on the table, apparently it's changed shapes and sizes, and it just doesn't feel good in my hands whatsoever. The grip's just too thin. It doesn't fill my hand up. So for that reason, on the G2C, I'm out, and I kind of just hate this gun, to be honest with you. The G2S, the slide, basically the same as the G2C, but here's where there's a big difference, and I can't stand this pistol either. Look at the grip on the G2S. It's just way too thick. I can barely get my hand around it, and when I do, I can barely reach the trigger. See? I can't even quite hardly just get to the back of the shoe. So the fact that the grip is just way too thick on this pistol, I hate it, and I'm out. And I'm going to keep going through just to show you guys what I'm talking about. The GX4, I used to like it, but the problem is this pistol's just too large. Like, I don't know how anybody out there, all these people in their videos saying they can actually conceal carry this. I mean, it's super, super big. Like, okay, fine. If you were like 6'12", maybe OWB with a trench coat over it. But other than that, this thing's just huge, and it only holds 11 rounds of 9 flush fit. So it's just out. It's a brick. Pistol's way too large for me. Can't stand it. Which brings me to the Spectrum. First of all, 380. Way too powerful of a round to even be putting in a little handgun like this. It's just not even right. You could literally probably break your hand with it. That's if you could even get your hand around it, because you thought this was a behemoth? The Spectrum? Again, maybe you could use this as a boat anchor or something like that. I mean, I guess if it jammed, you could at least use it as a club, because the thing weighs about, I don't know, 8 or 9 pounds unloaded. It's just too huge. I don't understand why anybody said they ever carried this. It just doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. So for that reason, I hate it, and I'm out. Alright, the G3C. Several issues with this. First of all, it's shaped like the G2C. I just said I hate how that gun feels in my hand, so the same applies. But here's another huge problem I have with the G3C. Check this out. This is a striker fire pistol. It has a manual safety on it. You shouldn't even be allowed to put out a striker fired pistol with a manual safety. Like, how was this even allowed to exist? Like, no. I hate everything about Taurus that they even thought about making a striker fired pistol with a manual safety. But hold on, it actually gets worse. And this is probably in the nail in the coffin, guys. This is also a G3C. Same grip that doesn't fit my hand, of course. Same grip, right? But can you believe this? They actually put out a G3C. This is a recent offering. And this is a striker fire pistol, and this has no manual safety on it. See? It's a G3C. Can you guys even imagine that it could even exist, that you would have a striker fire pistol without a manual safety? I mean, famous striker fired pistols like Glock wouldn't even consider doing that. So this is just atrocious. I hate it. I hate the fact that they would have a striker fire pistol with no manual safety. That's completely nuts. Now, here's another offering that I used to like and I really don't anymore. Just because, like I said, back to this, these 80s mouse guns, nice full feel. I can get a full purchase with my whole hand. You can see that easily. The pinky fits on the grip. I mean, this is a very substantial sized grip frame. And then there's the G3. Seriously, how are you guys even able to hold on to these to shoot them? I mean, the thing's so small. The grip's so short. Look, I can get literally just one finger on here. That's my trigger finger. Because the grip's so small, look, I have 3 fingers hanging off the bottom, and I actually have to shoot it in a weird way, like, kind of like left-handed, but gripping it like this. Look, I get it, it's cute. It almost looks like something you could fit in one of those little gumball machine little things. It's cute as a novelty, but the thing is so small, there's literally no way that I could accurately shoot it, so for that reason, on the G3, I'm out. I hate it. Can't stand it. Now, this brings me to another one. Now, if I hated the size of the G3C, which we have here with the G3X here, but now we have this little diminutive grip frame. Same thing again. Look, the G3X. It has the same grip frame as the G3. So I'm back to this again. I can only fit one finger and half of my thumb on the grip frame because it's just so small. Well, you guys can see here as pictured. I mean, how else would I possibly be able to grip this? One finger grip, and I have to shoot at kind of this hybrid, you know. So, since this is basically half the ergonomics of a G3, I don't know. I hate it, and I'm out. Which leads me to this. The G3 XL. This is another one that shares some similar characteristics. Here's the new G3 XL, and here's why I no longer like this, because here's the problem. The G3C. Okay. The grip is nice and full. Nice long grip. As you can see, this grip's much larger than on the G3 or the G3X, so that's not a problem. I can fit a full hand on there. Pinky fits perfect. Okay, even though it's just not very ergonomic whatsoever. But here's the problem I have with this. The slide is so short, so much shorter than a G3C. I don't know how I could get any terminal ballistics out of this thing. I mean, literally, maybe a little bit more than just throwing the cartridge down range. I get that. But at the same time, no. Slide's just way too short. I think this only has like a 1.2 inch barrel. And I'm kind of afraid maybe I'd get a squib load. And if not, it's definitely going to be keyholing by the time it hits the target. Here's another one that I used to like, but not so much anymore. The TX22. First of all, I get it. There are some people out there in the gun buying public that are former Navy SEALs. Obviously, since about half of my comments are from former Navy SEALs and Special Forces here within YouTube. But what about for all the rest of us civilians? They literally chambered this in the 22 long rifle. Now, if you guys know much about that, it's one of the largest rounds that's barely be able to be used by Special Forces. So to put a round like the 22 in a gun this small and expect civilians to be able to shoot it, it's a bit irresponsible. I think that's why we've seen a lot of uptick lately. You know, people that are walking around with slings and ace bandages around their wrist. That's somebody that wasn't in Special Forces, or particularly Navy SEALs, that tried to shoot this. So maybe I'll add a caveat. You should probably have to have, you know, show your DD-214 or your VA card or something to prove that you had at least some type of military service, if not specifically Navy SEALs only, before you should be able to get one of these. So for this, it just hurts too much with the powerful 22 long rifle. Therefore, I hate it, and I'm out. Alright, so I'm going to round it out here with a few more. And let's get into some of these revolvers. Now, I tried to give the revolvers a pass, but not really. So this is my Model 85, and here's the problem I have with this. 38 Special, okay. The thing's huge. Look at the size of this barrel on here. 2-inch barrel. The thing's so big, back to this again. I'll have to buy a Super Duty truck just to haul it around, and unless you're 6'13" and have a trench coat on, you're not going to be able to conceal this. 2-inch barrel? What were they thinking, making something with a barrel this big? No use for it. Just too large of a revolver. Now here's the 856. And I really, really wanted to like this one too, but I can't. I mean, first of all, look at it. It doesn't even look good at all. Like that whole two-tone. with the nice grips, and this is exactly the way it came from the factory, it just doesn't look good. And here's the problem with it. 3-inch barrel? Are you kidding me? That's too short. How could I literally hit the broadside of a barn if I was standing inside the barn? So imagine that. I'm standing inside of a barn, trying to hit the broadside of it, shooting my way out, and I still can't because it's a 3-inch barrel. You're not going to have any type of accuracy or terminal ballistics. 3-inch barrel's way too short. I mean, the gun's teeny enough already, super easy to conceal, I'll give it that, but the barrel's just too short to be able to hit anything with. And of course the round's not going to have any decent terminal velocity. I would say with how small this frame is, to be honest with you, even a person of small stature, I'd like to see this with more like a 16-inch barrel. And I think it'd still be very easy to conceal. And then I would like it, but 3-inch barrel is just too small. Therefore, I'm out. And I hate my 856. Now, here's another one, and this one's interesting, okay? But just follow me along here. This is a Model 82. The barrel's pretty small on it. As you can see, a little bit smaller than the 85, so therefore much more concealable, and that's good, okay? That's good. I'm probably going to be fine with the accuracy and terminal ballistics on this particular one. But here's the problem I have with it. Let's try a double action pull here. Unloaded. Safe direction. Double action pull. It's just too smooth, and I can actually stage it too well. I mean, really? Can you imagine that? To have something this smooth? Look, guys, I was never a Navy SEAL. Civilians? No, shouldn't even be allowed to have this. The trigger's just too smooth, to be honest with you. Too easy to stage. Single action? No, nope. The trigger's just too good. This trigger literally feels too perfect, too good in every way. I hate that about it, that the trigger's so good, so therefore, I'm out. And I'm going to leave it with this, one last one. Hopefully you guys have watched all the way through here because I've showed my due diligence, and I am going to have a little wrap-up conclusion here in just a minute. But I have to show you one more, and boy am I loath to say this. But this is borderline false advertisement. This is my TH9C, okay? First of all, with the FDE, doesn't even look good at all, right? I mean, chime in the comments and let me know what you think. Here's the problem with this. I purchased this as a hammer-fired pistol. Well, me working on my own vehicles and doing landscaping, I like hand tools and I have use for things like hammers. And when I opened the box up, I said, oh man, that must be a small hammer because the box was only like this big. And it is a hard case they give you with it, which that's another strike against it. Imagine that, giving someone a hard case with a pistol. Are you kidding me? That infuriated me. Ugh. That they would give me a hard case with my pistol. And why would they make it where the FDE frame actually looks decent? Ugh. Alright, I'm trying to keep my composure. I normally don't get mad at my videos. But here's where it's borderline false advertisement. Hammer fire gun. I rifle through the case. There's the owner's manual. There's the extra magazine. There's the ubiquitous gun lock. There's no hammer. So I literally had to go to Lowe's after buying a hammer fired pistol, because if not, how could I even fire it? Like, they didn't give me the hammer. And I had to buy this Cobalt 12 ounce. This is a dual head hammer. Nice rubber on this end and more of a neoprene type hard plastic here. American hickory handle. After buying a hammer fired pistol with my hard earned money, and these are like super expensive by the way, as you guys know, I had to go buy my own hammer with my own money. And that basically finally cements in why I hate Taurus pistols. And I'm going to be switching over to stuff more like this for obvious reasons. So hopefully I made my case. Hopefully nobody judges me. And hopefully you've been watching this far, because it's April Fool's. And hopefully you guys had a fun time with that video. If you're new to the channel, definitely check out my Taurus playlist. I think I've done 100 Taurus videos. And for the rest of you, make sure you're watching the channel, because I'm going to do a complete Taurus collection video very soon, which is going to show all of these pistols in brief detail, as well as 5 or 6 more that didn't quite make the cut for this video. So, happy April Fool's Day. I'll see you guys later, and hopefully you guys still love your Taurus firearms as much as I do. Alright, thanks for watching, and have a good one.